You meet an aesthetic research man on a blind date, but at night he takes off his glasses and puts on lip and tongue piercings. He even shows me a side of himself he's never shown anyone before, yet everyone thinks he's a well-behaved, honest student. But I discover the madness hidden beneath his refined exterior. My first meeting with Jason Smith. He had black hair, black clothes, and black-rimmed glasses. He seemed ascetic and conservative. After spending some time together, I realized how wrong I was. This seemingly aloof man would, at night, take off his glasses, put on lip and tongue piercings, and mumble, "Don't tremble, sis." Before the blind date, my mum showed me a picture of Jason. It was a 1-inch, white background ID photo. The man in the photo had short, neat black hair. He was wearing a white shirt and a neatly tied tie. His face, with its sharp features, was turned directly towards the camera, devoid of expression. He wasn't strikingly handsome, but he made you want to take a second look. I teased. "Is this the elite you were talking about? Whose parents are university professors, and who works at a research institute after completing his master's and doctorate?" My mum nodded repeatedly. Then she praised Jason endlessly, how he was good-looking, had a good temper, and never caused his parents any worry from childhood. I couldn't help but retort, if he's so outstanding, why does he need a blind date? Isn't there something wrong with him? My mum was speechless. She then resorted to threats and inducements, insisting that I meet him that weekend. She also told me to add him on WeChat so we could get to know each other a bit before meeting. I obediently did as I was told. He quickly accepted my friend request and sent a greeting. "Hello, I'm Jason." It was a very formal greeting. I replied formally as well. "Hello, I'm Isabel Lopez." I then clicked into his moments. It was completely blank, nothing there. I wondered if he had blocked me. Even after I sent that greeting, he didn't reply. It wasn't until 7 p.m. that he sent me the cafe's location and table number, inviting me to meet him on the weekend. Concise, businesslike, so cold. On the weekend, I arrived at the cafe right on time. As soon as I walked in, I saw Jason sitting by the window. He looked almost exactly like his photo. His black short hair was neat and tidy. The buttons of his white shirt were meticulously fastened all the way to the last one, just below his prominent Adam's apple. I hadn't looked closely at the photo. Seeing him in person, I noticed a small mole on the left side of his Adam's apple. It trembled slightly as he spoke. It felt strangely poignant. "Miss Isabel." Jason's slightly deep voice came from beside me. I immediately averted my gaze, awkwardly saying, "Huh? What did you say?" I'd been so focused on his neck that I hadn't paid any attention to what he was saying. I gave him a slightly apologetic smile. "Sorry, I was a bit distracted just now." Jason had a good temper. He softly said it was fine and repeated, "Miss Isabel, what would you like to drink?" "Anything the same as you." While he was looking down to place the order, I quickly messaged my best friend on my phone. "Babe, this blind date is ridiculously handsome. That guy in glasses who looks like an insurance salesman. How good looking is he? Send me the photos quickly, let me see." Tsk. The last time I showed her a passport photo, she said he was an insurance salesman. I typed quickly, Forget it. Forget it. I'm afraid of being caught taking candid photos, and he might think I'm interested in him." "So, are you interested in him or not?" That was a soul-searching question. I froze, not knowing how to reply. Just as I was about to sneak a glance at Jason, I realized he had already finished ordering at some point. He sat up straight, his gaze fixed on me without wavering. I flinched in surprise and quickly locked my screen. "Excuse me, I need to reply to a friend's message." As soon as I said it, I regretted it. Why did I have to explain to him? Before, on blind dates, I even played Candy Crush in front of people and didn't feel guilty. Jason nodded gently and said indifferently, "It's okay. You don't need to be nervous." For some reason, I felt that his gaze behind his glasses was very dangerous. "Is this your first blind date too, Miss Isabel?" "No, it's my third." He let out an "ah" and nodded. I also didn't know what he meant. The atmosphere became stagnant. Fortunately, the waiter soon brought 2 cups of coffee. Jason meticulously wiped his fingers with an alcohol wipe before picking up the cup and taking a sip. I glanced up and noticed his hands were very attractive. His palms were broad, and his fingers weren't overly slender. His knuckles and fingertips had a faint pink hue. When he picked up the cup, the blue veins on the back of his hand subtly bulged. Upon our first meeting, Jason gave me the impression of a fastidious, dull, and rigid man. Although he was indeed quite handsome, I felt he wasn't quite right for me. So, halfway through our coffee, I confessed to him, Mr. Jason, I'm here for this blind date to appease my family, and I assume you are too. He looked up and stared at me steadily. No, I came voluntarily. I was stunned, not understanding what he meant. From adding each other on WeChat until now, we had exchanged no more than 10 sentences in total. Could he possibly be interested in me? I cleared my throat and said seriously, Well, Mr. Jason, personally, I have no plans to get married at the moment. He nodded. It's okay. I'm not in a hurry to get married either. He didn't seem to understand what I meant. I added, To be honest, I don't like honest and boring men. Of course, I don't mean to say anything bad about you. It's just that everyone has their own preferences. Mr. Jason is so excellent. He'll definitely find a more suitable girl. Jason adjusted his glasses and said seriously, Miss Isabel makes a good point. I breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed he was quite reasonable. I was about to say that we wouldn't need to meet again and could just unfriend each other after we got home. His tone suddenly changed. But it's unfair to say I'm boring without even trying. When we left the coffee shop, Jason offered to give me a ride. I waved my hand to refuse. He didn't insist. Miss Isabel, then we'll see each other next time. I nodded vaguely, watching him turn and leave. It wasn't until I got home that I realized how did I agree to give it a try. Kristen video called me immediately. How was it? How was it? I feigned seriousness. It was all right. He's quite proper. Kristen didn't believe me. He didn't peek at you? No way. As she spoke, her eyes darted to my chest. My ears flushed. Jason really didn't peek. I was the one who peeked. Several times he caught me red-handed. When I looked up and saw his dignified appearance, it made me seem very improper. Ahem. I feel like he's quite conservative. It's so hot, yet he's still wearing a suit, with all the buttons fastened tightly. Wow, that's very aesthetic. What about his physique? Is he tall? I recalled the scene of Jason and me standing at the shop entrance. I was roughly at his chin. As for his physique, when he left, I specifically watched his retreating figure, the narrow waist below his belt, and the long legs encased in his trousers. Ahem! Quite striking. Kristen shrieked from the other end. You two have the cutest height difference, the cutest age difference. A younger man and an older woman. I love watching younger men and older women. Will you take me on your next date? I ignored her craziness and hesitantly voiced my doubt. Little Kristen, I don't know if I'm seeing things, but below the right corner of his lip, there's a very small hole, like from a lip piercing. She got even crazier. What? A lip piercing? That's so edgy. Oh, for crying out loud. There's no reasoning with a pervert. Jason said he wanted to keep seeing me. But then, there was no news for 2 whole days. The WeChat chat page was still stuck on his last message after we left the coffee shop, asking if I'd gotten home. I replied that I had. He said good. And then nothing. I couldn't help but wonder if he was joking, just messing with me. I haven't dated for so many years, only playing otome games. Precisely because real relationships are too draining. You can never really figure out what the other person is thinking. Unlike the men in otome games. Top-tier faces, top-tier bodies, top-tier voices. I just spend a little money and get top-tier emotional value. So much simpler. On the 3rd day, my mom asked me again how my chat with Jason went. It was fine when she didn't ask, but as soon as she did, I felt inexplicably annoyed. I sneered. Didn't like him. We unfriended each other. My mum looked incredulous. Impossible! Your Aunt Fang said the man was very satisfied with you. You didn't give him a hard time, did you? I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Mom, we only met once. He said he was satisfied. And you believe it? Besides, we only spent about 20 minutes together. Barely said a few words. What kind of attitude could I have given him? My mum grumbled and went to the balcony to make a call. The more I thought about it in the living room, the more annoyed I got. I just went ahead and deleted him. Then I messaged Kristen, asking her to go out for drinks tonight. No sooner had I made the arrangements than my phone rang. It was an unknown number. Hello, Isabel, this is Jason. Jason said on the phone that he had been busy with work recently and hadn't found a suitable time to ask me out for dinner. He got off work early tonight and asked if I was free. I was sulking and coldly said I wasn't. He sensed my mood was off. After a few seconds of silence, he said in a low voice, I'm sorry, Isabel. You agreed to try dating, but I didn't proactively contact you. It's my fault. Can we meet again? I want to apologize to you in person. I wanted to refuse. Many boys had pursued me since I was little. I just wasn't interested in them. Jason was something else. He said he was very satisfied with me and asked me to give him a chance to try dating. Then he left me hanging for 3 days, neither hot nor cold. Now he's back to apologize and make up. Am I that easy to appease? I snorted coldly and said irritably, I have a dinner engagement tonight. Come if you want. The other side agreed without hesitation. Okay, what time? I'll pick you up. I hung up the phone. I sent him the location of the barbecue restaurant. Then I told Kristen that Jason was also coming tonight. She excitedly sent a dozen emojis. I want to see just how upright this insurance salesman is. He's got our beautiful Isabel so smitten that she's been losing at mahjong for 3 days straight. I was furious. Kristen! That's enough. You're treating tonight. 8 o'clock in the evening, Jason arrived at my building on time. My mum rummaged around the house for a long time, packed a small bag of trash, and said she wanted to go downstairs with me. Of course, I knew what she was thinking. I snatched the trash bag from her hand. Don't make things worse. It's still up in the air, whether it'll work out or not. Why are you so eager to see him? Before my mum could catch up, I quickly closed the elevator door. Under the streetlights, Jason stood by the car door, looking down at the tree shadows on the ground. Today he wasn't wearing a suit, but a black jacket. The zipper was still pulled all the way up. His lean jaw was hidden by the collar. I pursed my lips. I don't know why this person always wraps himself up so tightly. The first time I met Jason, I even put on light makeup and dressed quite formally. Today, I just tied my hair in a ponytail and came down in Crocs. Jason looked up, saw me coming, and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Miss Isabel. His voice was slightly low, and he always politely called me Miss Isabel. Polite, yet distant. I didn't look at him, just hummed in response. I opened the back car door, but was instantly stunned. The spacious back seat was filled with a large bouquet of pink and white roses. They were budding and still covered in dewdrops. From behind me, Jason's deep, pleasant voice said, to apologize to you. Jason opened the passenger door and looked at me quietly. His clear, cool eyes held a gentle warmth. I pressed my lips together. I said stubbornly, I wasn't even mad. What are you apologizing for? Jason curved his lips. I didn't bring flowers the first time we met, so this makes up for it. Kristen arrived at the barbecue restaurant before me. As soon as she saw me, her eyes lit up. No, it should be when she saw Jason behind me. Kristen said demurely. Isabel, I've already ordered for both of us. See what your boyfriend likes to eat and add a little more. I was about to retort, telling her not to shout nonsense. What boyfriend? Nothing's even happened yet. Jason had already responded. I'm not picky. Anything is fine. Kristen pulled me towards the wine cabinet. She whispered excitedly. Handsome, handsome, handsome. He's really something. I couldn't take it anymore. If you like him so much, you can have him. No. If Tony finds out, my life will be over. Kristen and Tony were high school classmates. The two of them had no interaction during school. They ended up together after starting work, and it was an office romance. Tony was Kristen's boss. We had eaten together a few times, and he was too controlling. He would even get jealous if Kristen and I hugged. Besides his looks, I don't know what's so great about him. When we came back with 6 bottles of beer, Jason was still sitting upright. This person never seemed to slouch or cross his legs. He had an aloof and distant demeanor, completely out of place with the relaxed and lively atmosphere around him. I casually handed him a glass and politely asked, Do you want some? Jason waved his hand. I'll be driving later. You guys drink. As he spoke, he took the beer bottle from my hand and opened it for me. While waiting for the skewers, Kristen and I chatted animatedly. From the SSR card she pulled this week to the 13 orphans she won in mahjong last night, Kristen became more and more enthusiastic as she spoke, because all the good things were happening to her. Jason listened silently beside us. I admit, I deliberately wanted to give him the cold shoulder, but he didn't seem to show any displeasure. He even spoke up when I fiercely bit into a skewer of silkworm pupae and vowed to win my money back. He handed over a plate of peeled crayfish. Then, without a word, he opened another bottle of wine for us. While he was in the restroom, Kristen nudged my arm. Isabel, this guy is pretty well behaved. Why don't you two talk first? If it doesn't work out, you can move on to the next one. I mumbled a response. not directly answering her. She knew very well that I'm the type who responds to kindness, not toughness. If Jason had immediately started explaining all the reasons why he hadn't contacted me these past few days, I might have gotten angry, finding him long-winded and full of excuses. But he came to our girls' night without a word, even though I was giving him the cold shoulder. He good-naturedly peeled shrimp and poured wine for me. This humble, accommodating attitude. I'm quite a sucker for that. After 6 bottles of wine, Kristen was nearing her curfew. I accompanied her to the bar to settle the bill, only to be told that our table had already been paid for. I turned around. Jason had already stood up and walked over to us. "Are you heading back now? I'll give you a ride." Kristen quickly refused. No, my boyfriend is picking me up. You can take Isabel home." Jason glanced at me, as if waiting for me to agree. On the way back, Jason's car drove very slowly. I'm not good with alcohol. I was already tipsy by the second bottle. Leaning back in the seat now, I felt a little overstimulated. One moment I'd look at the flowers in the back seat. The next I'd look at Jason driving. Jason's profile was actually more attractive than his full face. His nose bridge was high, his eyelashes long. His lips were pressed together, and that small dimple next to them was very clear. In a moment of impulse, I blurted out, "Jason, is that a lip piercing?" "Yes," he answered readily, much to my surprise. "When did you get it?" "In high school." "Didn't my mom say he was a good boy who never worried his parents?" "What kind of good boy gets a lip piercing in high school?" I squinted, scrutinizing him. Jason looked back at me. "What's wrong?" I looked at him with a serious expression. "Jason, I seriously suspect that you're wrapping yourself up so tightly on a hot day because you're hiding a full-sleeve tattoo under your clothes." Jason's usually indifferent expression showed a rare hint of shock. He curved his lips into a helpless smile. "No, really. I got the lip piercing because I was too stressed in high school and couldn't find an outlet. I'm not that bad," he said, then glanced at me again. I propped my chin up, staring at him. Jason's upper lip was thin, and his lower lip was fuller. He usually kept his lip line very straight. Only when he spoke did I notice that the corners of his lips actually turned up slightly. They were rosy and full, looking very kissable. I suddenly wanted to know what kind of contrast it would be if he, with his serious demeanor, wore a lip piercing. So I pointed to his lip. "Jason, do you usually wear this?" He shook his head. "No, only occasionally to prevent it from closing." "On a whim?" I asked again. "Jason, when you wear this, does it get in the way of kissing?" Jason was visibly taken aback. He slowly pulled the car over to the side of the road. He turned to face me, his gaze deep, and politely asked, "I don't know. Do you want to try?" Jason didn't make any move after asking that question. He just watched me quietly. In the confined car, the air, along with his gaze, slowly burned and heated up. I regained my composure. I stammered, No need. I'm just curious. I don't mean to try it." Jason's expression was calm. "It's okay. If you want to try, I'm willing." No, I won't try. Drive quickly. I want to go home and sleep." How could he say such suggestive words with that cold face? For the rest of the journey, I closed my eyes tightly and pretended to be asleep. I didn't dare to say another word. After getting out of the car, I tried to pick up the large bouquet of flowers from the back seat. It was too heavy, and I couldn't pick it up at once. Jason stopped my hand. I thought he was going to help me. To my surprise, he leaned over, pulled out a rose, and handed it to me. "It's too late. I won't see you up." My heart pounded. "What about the rest of the flowers?" Jason said softly. "The original intention of sending flowers was to ask for your forgiveness. If you are willing to accept my apology, just take one back." The night was gentle. The faint floral scent in the air seemed to soothe the summer heat. I lowered my eyes and took the flower from his hand. Jason seemed to breathe a sigh of relief. "Miss Isabel, then we'll see each other next time." When I returned upstairs and looked down from the window, Jason's car was still parked by the roadside. The lights in the car were on. I could vaguely see his figure. I sent him a message. "I'm home. You should head back now." "Okay. Good night." I looked up again, and his car slowly drove out of sight. That night, perhaps it was the alcohol. Perhaps it was Jason's swords that influenced me. I had an unspeakable dream. After waking up, I lay in bed, my heart still pounding. After I told Kristen about my dream, that bad woman shared a song with me. Tornado. I forgot where I read this. But a relationship begins with your curiosity about that person. I didn't want to be too curious about Jason and wanted to cool off for a few days. But he suddenly seemed to have free time. He started sharing his life with me. I accepted his flowers. It wasn't good to ignore him anymore. When he asked me out for the weekend, I agreed. When I sat in front of the mirror and started choosing my colored contacts, I suddenly realized that even though I said I didn't care, and it was fine whether we went out or not, I actually cared a lot about this date. I struggled for 2 minutes. I decided to follow my heart. As Kristen said, people shouldn't be afraid of the well for 10 years after being bitten by a snake once. It's rare to meet someone you like, so why not pursue it? I seem to have made some kind of decision. I picked out a dress from the closet that really showed off my figure. A large expanse of fair skin on the chest. Even I found it striking. I put on a knitted shawl over it. Beautiful. I went to the date feeling lovely. When I saw Jason, I was stunned. He was still wearing a casual suit, a dark blue tie, and his black-rimmed glasses. Nothing had changed. But there was a lip stud on his lip. A very small diamond. Not eye-catching, but on his cold face. It was damn sexy. Luckily, I was prepared today. If I had come out in slippers for the date like last time, wouldn't he have completely outshone me? I tossed my curly hair and gracefully walked over to Jason. His gaze fell on my face. The corners of his lips curved slightly. "Miss Isabel, you look very beautiful today." My heart skipped a beat. Is a straight man's compliment really that direct? On the surface, I maintained a calm demeanor. I know. I paused, still unable to resist my curiosity. "Jason, what made you decide to wear a lip stud?" He opened the car door for me. He whispered back, "I thought you'd want to see it. Don't you like it? Then I'll take it off later." Damn it! It looks good. It looks incredibly good. Don't take it off! But Jason had already wiped his hands clean, ready to remove the lip stud. I sat by, feeling anxious. Don't take it off." Jason paused, turning his head to look at me. His eyes seemed to say, "Are you sure I don't need to take it off? Do you like it?" I turned my head to look out the car window, my gaze wandering. I cleared my throat and whispered, "It looks pretty good. Don't take it off." I don't know if it was my imagination. After I said that, I seemed to catch a glimpse of Jason's lips curving in my peripheral vision. He was exceptionally focused when driving, not even looking at his phone. I sat beside him, telling Kristen what had just happened. She replied, "So juicy. Please, please, live stream the whole thing, okay? It's been so long since I've been in love. It takes me back to when I wasn't a wicked woman yet." Isabel said, "Bullshit. Is Mr. Tony dead?" Isabel added, "I'm the one who hasn't been in love for a long time." "He's not dead, but I'm almost dead. After eating too much meat, I crave some pure love." "But baby, your relationship that lasted only a month, where you didn't even kiss before he cheated, doesn't count as a relationship, okay?" "Isabel, then what does it count as?" "Kristen, it counts as you being unlucky." I pouted and put away my phone. That first love, which wasn't really a first love, was indeed quite unlucky. Kristen once thought that the reason I hadn't been willing to date for years was because of that scumbag. But that wasn't entirely true. When I found out he'd said goodnight to me on the phone and then rolled into a king-size bed with another girl, besides feeling a bit disgusted, I was mostly just a little stunned. I originally wanted to break up then and there, go our separate ways. Who knew he would pester me for a whole 6 months? He kept harassing me. I blocked all his numbers, but he'd still find new ones to send me a bunch of long-winded messages. Over and over, it was just him trying to defend himself, using a moment of impulse as an excuse. "You can go to hell. Why didn't you have a moment of impulse and transfer 2 million to me before quickly getting lost?" Even now, thinking about it, it feels like I wasn't bitten by a dog, but rather licked by one. And it was a dog that had just eaten shit outside. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. It just so happened that Jason saw it. He tentatively asked, "Are you in a bad mood?" I told him truthfully, "No, I just thought of my scumbag ex." I looked at Jason's tightly pursed lips. I realized I had said the wrong thing, but there was nothing to hide. The first time we met, I confessed that he was the third guy I had been set up with. He didn't say anything, did he? I looked at his exquisitely sculpted profile and asked, "What's wrong? Don't you have an ex?" "No." "Impossible. How could a guy who looks like him not have any girls like him? And according to my mum, he's been an honor student since he was a kid. Girls love top students who are good looking and have good grades." "Okay, But Jason seriously explained, "Really, no. When I was in school, I was a bit reclusive and didn't like talking to people much. Some girls confessed to me too, but I rejected them all. I was curious. Why? Wasn't there anyone you liked?" He curved his lips, thought for a while, and then said, "At that time, I wasn't very interested in anything. When I heard them talk about me, I felt it was very unreal. That was the me they imagined." He paused and said in a very flat tone, "And when I was in school, I wasn't as popular as you imagine. In fact, some classmates were very hostile towards me." Jason told me that he was actually very introverted during his school days. He couldn't gossip with his classmates. He also didn't like sweating and competing with them on the sports field. He just wanted to quietly do his own thing. But there were always people who couldn't stand him. They said he was faking it. He was always the top student from childhood to adulthood. Others wouldn't praise him for being smart or hardworking. They would only say, "Oh, his parents are university professors. No wonder." It was as if his parents took the exam for him and got a perfect score. Over time, he began to hate the halo around him. He disliked being watched. He also hated boring social interactions. When the opposite sex expressed their affection, there was no flutter in his heart, only suspicion. He suspected whether he was really as excellent as they said he was. However, even this emotion wouldn't last long, because he simply didn't care what others thought of him. Actually, I deeply empathized with what he said. I developed well, and my face wasn't bad. When I was in school, many boys from the same school pursued me. Some were good students, and some were idlers. After I rejected them, there were nasty rumors in the school, saying that I was a fake. My breasts were so big, who knows how many boys had touched them privately. The rumors spread and became more and more believable, and even people from outside the school came to ask me if it cost 2,000 for one time. I was really amused and angry. I pulled out 2 yuan in coins and threw them at his face. I told him if he was itchy, he should go buy a steel wool pad and scrub himself. Some girls next to me cheered and applauded for me. They helped me curse. "Get lost. I'll give you $1 to buy a bottle of enema. If the front is broken, you can still use the back, you pig." That girl was Kristen. But Jason wasn't as lucky as me. He had no friends. As we walked by the bridge, I couldn't help but ask him, "So what about you now? Still not interested in anything?" Jason lowered his gaze, a faint smile still on his lips. "No, I feel everything is just right now." I paused for 2 seconds. After realizing what he meant, my face instantly flushed. When a straight man talks sweet, it's truly deadly. I deliberately played mischievous, pretending to be serious. I said, "Jason, I'm 2 years older than you. You can't tease me." "Quickly call me Gigi, older sister, and let me hear it." He wasn't annoyed. The moment the rain fell, he called out Gigi, incredibly naturally. It made me feel great. This was my second date with Jason. I found that although he didn't talk much, he was very easy to talk to. My good feelings for him grew little by little. When he drove me home, the car stopped downstairs. The rain that started in the evening still hadn't stopped. Neither of us spoke. Soothing music played in the car. Jason unbuckled his seatbelt. Click! My heart fluttered. "Miss Isabel, we're here." I quickly responded, "Thank you. I had a great time today. See you next time." He reminded me it was time to get out of the car. I was too embarrassed to stay longer. I said goodbye, picked up my bag, and was about to leave. Suddenly, he grabbed my wrist. The force was neither light nor heavy, but I instantly froze, not daring to move. "You asked me last time what it felt like to kiss with a lip piercing, and I said I didn't know because I hadn't tried it. So today, when I came to see you, I specifically put one on. Do you want to try?" My ears burned. I didn't dare to look back at him at all. I stammered. "I just said it casually. I'm not that curious. But I am very curious." He moved closer little by little, and the cool, pleasant scent of wormwood enveloped me. The way he was holding my wrist also changed to fingers intertwined. His lips brushed my mouth like a dragonfly touching water, but my heart almost stopped. I subconsciously closed my eyes, but then I heard his low, husky voice slowly say, "I'm not very good at it. Can you teach me?" I was instantly mortified. Am I supposed to be an expert? Before I could retort, my lips were heavily sucked. I quietly opened my eyes and noticed his ears were flushed. Jason had turned his head, and at some point, he had taken off his glasses. His eyelashes were long and thick. They trembled slightly with his movement as he turned his head to kiss me. The cold, hard lip piercing occasionally brushed against my lips, gradually becoming warm. I don't know how long it was, but when we finally separated, we were both breathless. He had his eyes closed, his breathing ragged. His large hand was still on the back of my neck. His thumb gently rubbed the base of my ear. I didn't dare to move. Looking at his expression, why did he look like I had bullied him? I gently poked his chest. "Jason, are you okay?" He suddenly buried his face in my shoulder and said in a muffled voice, "Not so good. It's not what I imagined." Huh? Huh. I used to think kissing was boring, superfluous. Just an exchange of human fluids and then getting the other person's scent on you. A meaningless and joyless act. But just now, I realized how wrong I was. I interrupted him, blushing. "Enough! Don't say another word. It's getting late. I need to go home." Jason's eyes showed a hint of disappointment, and he slowly let go of my hand. "Okay, it's raining outside. I'll walk you in." With his glasses on, he returned to his usual detached demeanor. He held an umbrella and walked me to the elevator. My left shoulder was soaked. "You should go back quickly. Don't catch a cold." He looked at me deeply and hummed in response. Until the elevator door slowly closed, I felt an inexplicable emptiness in my heart. These past few days, my colleagues have been asking me if I won the lottery. Why am I in such a good mood? It looks like I've forgiven the whole world. I tucked in the corners of my mouth. Is it that obvious? "It's too obvious, Isabel. You're not in love, are you?" I patted the large backpack behind my seat. Yes, I'm going to see my boyfriend after work today." But they didn't believe me. I didn't explain much either. Jason and I are getting more and more serious. I couldn't help but laugh just now because he messaged me on WeChat saying he'd pick me up after work. He even sent a cute emoji, which he stole from me. Tomorrow is the weekend, and Kristen and I have plans to go rafting. Her husband, Mr. Tony, is also going. I considered that Jason is quite busy with work and doesn't like dealing with strangers, so I didn't invite him. But he suggested coming along. He even took 2 days off from his teacher. We're leaving right after work today. As soon as the time came, I immediately shut down my computer and rushed to the parking lot. Jason saw me from afar and walked towards me. I immediately jumped into his arms, wrapping my legs around his waist. I gave him a big kiss on the cheek. Jason held me with one arm. With the other hand, he took my bag. His Adam's apple bobbed, and a laugh escaped him. "Slow down. Don't bump yourself." It had only been 5 days since we last saw each other, but I missed him so much. I rubbed my face against his shoulder. Jason's voice was a little hoarse, and he tilted his head back, making it easier for me to mess around. I took a few deep breaths and kissed his face again. "Baby, you smell so good." His Adam's apple bobbed sharply, and the look in his eyes behind his glasses grew darker. "I showered before coming to see you." I laughed out loud, praising him for being good. Jason looks tall and slender, refined and gentle, but his core strength is very strong. He carried me to the car with one arm. He put my bag in the trunk and then brought out a large bag of snacks. As he leaned in to buckle my seatbelt, he said softly, "I checked the navigation. It's about a 4-hour drive. I downloaded movies on the tablet. You can eat something to pass the time." I leaned over and kissed him on the cheek again. "Baby, you're really too good." Jason smiled helplessly. He cupped my chin with one hand and took off his glasses. "Sister needs a more practical reward." As soon as he finished speaking, a gentle yet domineering kiss, almost predatory, swept over me. I sat cross-legged and took out a square jewelry box from my sun protection jacket pocket. "Look how eager you are. It's not like I didn't prepare a reward for you. Here, this is for you. You have to keep listening to your sister like this, and your sister will always be good to you." Jason's lips were slightly swollen, but his eyes lit up. He seemed disbelieving. "For me?" He took the jewelry box and opened it. A pair of blue diamond earrings sparkled brilliantly. Pretty, right? I saw them last time when I was shopping with Kristen, and I fell in love with them at first sight. I asked the sales assistant, and she said they could be worn as lip studs. "Your skin is fair, so they'll definitely look good on you." Jason smiled. "Sister is so good to me. I'll repay you 100-fold. I didn't understand what he meant. I waved my hand, generously. "No need. You've already given me enough things." Since he sent flowers last time, he brings a gift every time we meet. Bags, necklaces, bracelets. Each one is very valuable. At first, I was embarrassed to accept them. He didn't force it, and would turn around and throw them in the trash. He said that intentions that couldn't be given were just trash. When Kristin found out, she sent a row of thumbs-up emojis. Good man. Good man. I hope all men in the world follow this standard. So last time I was shopping with Kristin, when I saw these beautiful blue diamond earrings, I immediately thought of Jason wearing them on his lips. I wanted to pay for them on the spot. Kristin looked at me resentfully. You buy for him, but not for me. It's true that you only hear the laughter of the new, but not the cries of the old. No choice. I bought her a gold bracelet too. Friends and boyfriends, I spoil them all. Along the way, I watched movies and ate snacks. Afraid of Jason driving while tired, I talked to him for a while longer. As a result, I talked myself to sleep. By the time we reached the hotel, it was almost 11 o'clock. Kristin couldn't wait to drag me to the rooftop barbecue. She said the room was already reserved. This hotel is owned by Mr. Tony. With her arrangements, I was completely at ease. Jason told me to go first, and he would come after taking the luggage to the room. Half an hour later, Kristin and I were already having a blast drinking. Every day, office workers go to work just to play wantonly during their holidays. The air in the mountains is very good. You can see the sky full of stars when you look up. When Jason came up to find me, he and Tony nodded to each other, which counted as a greeting. Tony carried the drunk Kristin and said it was time to go back and rest. I thought Jason had been driving for several hours and was also tired, so I followed him back to the room. I was stunned when I saw the rather spectacular large bed in the suite. How did Tony arrange this? Is such a big hotel unwilling to book 2 rooms? Jason calmly took out his change of clothes. I awkwardly explained, there might be a mistake. I'll go confirm with Kristin again. Jason grabbed my wrist. It's too late. It might not be convenient to go now. Oh, right. Then I'll go down and book another room. Jason's deep voice showed no emotion. He said lightly, no need. I'll sleep on the sofa. Before I knew Jason, I always thought I just had a low alcohol tolerance. But my drinking manners were impeccable. But when Jason unbuttoned his shirt one by one in front of me, revealing his fair and strong chest, I felt those unseemly thoughts in my mind starting to run wild. I don't know if I drank too much, or if Jason did it on purpose. He unbuttoned those few buttons extremely slowly. I already liked his hands. I liked his Adam's apple. When his hand unbuttoned the first button, revealing his long neck and the sight of his Adam's apple moving, it almost made me want to have a nosebleed. His muscles weren't exaggerated. A firm chest, a lean waist, with bulging 6-pack abs. It was almost like a comic book. Miss Isabel, shall I go take a shower first? His voice seemed to come from far away. I swallowed hard and repeatedly said yes. The bathroom door opened and closed. Soon, the sound of water could be heard. I collapsed onto the large bed, screaming into a pillow. My watch vibrated, reminding me of my elevated heart rate. As if making a decision, I took off my watch and tossed it onto the nightstand. I tried to calm my breathing, but the chaotic thoughts in my mind wouldn't subside. When Jason emerged wrapped in a towel, my eyes immediately fixated on him. He ran his wet hair back, revealing a smooth forehead. Beneath his thick brows were deep-set eyes and a prominent nose. A few drops of water trickled down from his hair, over his sculpted muscles, and finally disappeared into the towel. His face still held that indifferent expression. He seemed unaware of how sexy he looked at that moment. My eyes darted around, unsure where to look. It wasn't until he softly reminded me, I'm done showering. What time was it already? Blushing, I feared he would see through my thoughts. I rushed into the bathroom. Okay. I'm going to shower now. You go to sleep first. Don't wait for me. The bathroom door closed. I looked at my flushed face in the mirror and lightly slapped myself. Isabel, why do you turn into a beast with such lustful thoughts every time you see him? It's not my fault. Look at his alluring appearance. Who wouldn't be tempted? Oh, come on. You had these inappropriate thoughts even when he was fully clothed. All right, I admit, I'm guilty. After a battle between the left and right sides of my brain, I started to worry. What if I really couldn't control myself tonight and devoured him completely? While my mind wandered, I slowly took my shower. I dawdled in the bathroom for almost an hour before I finished washing. Only when I wrapped myself in a towel did I realize I had rushed in too quickly. I hadn't brought a change of clothes. If I asked Jason to get them for me, would he think I did it on purpose? I was in an internal struggle. Jason was worried outside. The sound of water had stopped for 10 minutes, and there was still no sign of me. He was concerned that I had been washing for too long, and might be dizzy from lack of oxygen. He walked over and knocked on the bathroom door. "Isabel, are you okay?" I'm fine. Jason, could you please do me a favor? I forgot to bring my pajamas. Okay, I'll bring your bag to the door. Great. He didn't ask me where my pajamas were, and I didn't have to worry about him seeing my intimate apparel when he rummaged through my bag. But I forgot. I was used to sleeping alone. My pajamas were always light, form-fitting silk. Tonight, however, I would be in the same room as Jason. This little bit of fabric, worn on my body, was barely better than nothing. There was no other way. I wrapped another towel over my pajamas. I walked out, smiling a smile that was uglier than crying. Jason immediately looked up, his eyes full of concern. "Are you okay? Did you wash for too long? Why is your face so red?" I immediately dove under the covers. I mumbled, "I'm fine. I'm sleepy. Turn off the light and let's sleep." Jason didn't understand, but he complied. As soon as the light was off, the room instantly became quiet. I had slept in the car and wasn't sleepy at all now. My hair was still wet. It wasn't comfortable to be huddled under the covers. I listened for a while. Jason was quiet, not making a sound. I wondered if he was asleep. I quietly turned over, then turned over again. In the darkness, I heard a sigh. "Your hair is still wet. Get up and blow dry it before you sleep." So he wasn't asleep. I obediently sat cross-legged on the sofa. I was wearing Jason's shirt. It was clean and smelled good. It was his scent. Jason held the hairdryer, his long fingers gently lifting strands of my long hair. He blew it unhurriedly. There were no hugs, no hand-holding, no kisses. But at this moment, it was more intimate than any of those things. My heart rate gradually sped up. The courage I usually had to jump on him and fool around was now completely gone. Jason was very close. His strong, powerful arm was right in front of me. If I looked up, I could see his slightly sunken collarbone. Further up was his Adam's apple. The small mole next to his Adam's apple was particularly striking against his fair skin. I stared at it for a while. An inappropriate thought popped into my head. I wonder what it would feel like to kiss it. Jason's Adam's apple suddenly bobbed up and down. The buzzing sound of the hairdryer stopped. Jason's low, husky voice sounded above my head. "Done." I didn't move. He put away the hairdryer and asked again, "Are you sleepy? Do you want to go rest?" I shook my head. The atmosphere fell silent again. I vaguely heard him sigh helplessly. I really should have gotten another room. I overestimated my self-control. My back stiffened. Did he mean? He also. The wall lamp was on, casting a dim, twilight glow. I don't know where I found the courage. I grabbed his fingers and gently shook them. "Jason, I want to." My palm was suddenly squeezed tight by him. Jason leaned down, lifted my chin, and kissed me hard. All my reserve and reason vanished the moment our soft lips met. He arched his back, sucking and nibbling again and again. I gasped for breath, not forgetting to remind him. "Turn off the light." Jason picked me up with one hand and placed me on that ridiculously large bed. "Wait for me." He went to the bathroom. He returned quickly. I clearly saw a lip ring on his lip. It was the one I gave him. I immediately felt embarrassed. "You don't have to wear it now." "I do," Sister rewarded me. "I want to use it to repay Sister." His voice was a few shades slower than usual. I didn't notice at first. Not until he took off his glasses. When I was aroused, he leaned down. I then shrieked, "Jason! What is that?" "A tongue ring, Sister." "When did you get it?" "On our first date. When you said you were curious what it felt like to kiss with a lip ring." "Oh my God! He's such a scoundrel!" I grabbed his hair. Struggling to find my voice, I asked, "Are you sure it's used like this?" Jason responded indistinctly, "Yes. Everything I have is for my sister. Sister is so good. Will you reward me like this again next time?" After a night of tossing and turning, I finally fell asleep just as dawn was breaking. Around 2 in the afternoon, someone knocked on the door. Jason got dressed and opened the door. It was Tony. "Kristen isn't awake yet. Let's reschedule rafting for tomorrow." "Okay, we'll talk about it tomorrow." The two men looked at the red marks on each other's necks and chests. They nodded knowingly and returned to their respective rooms. I rolled over in bed and into Jason's arms. I mumbled, begging for mercy. Jason, that's enough. It's not like there's no tomorrow. A soft kiss landed on my head. He tucked me in, his voice gentle. He said, there's always tomorrow.